above the net. Her name was Hayley Monroe. She was 19 and had just enrolled at one of the bustling universities on the west coast of the United States. Studying wasn't just a duty for her. She dreamed of becoming a sports physiotherapist, helping other athletes achieve the impossible. But most of all, she loved volleyball. It was what made her wake up before everyone else, endure the pain and sweat during training, fall down, and get back up again. On the university team, things turned out differently than she had imagined. The girls were close-knit, too close-knit. They looked at Hayley with suspicion, as if she had taken someone else's place. "Honestly, I don't understand why we need a newcomer," one of the players said in the locker room, thinking Hayley wouldn't hear her. She heard her, and it cut her to the heart. The first practices were difficult. If she made a mistake, someone would roll their eyes. When she played well, there was silence, as if it were a matter of course. Every evening, Hayley would go out to the empty arena after everyone had left and practice again. Jump, serve, hit, again and again, because that was the only way she knew how to prove her worth. Sometimes she just wanted to leave, to stop fighting for the attention of those who didn't care. But then she remembered her father's words. "You don't have to be loved. You have to be yourself." That evening, Hayley buried her face in her knees and whispered to herself, "I'm going to do it anyway." The coach noticed her persistence before anyone else did. Hayley stayed on the court longer than the captain. She ran faster than the libero. And she hit the ball so hard that it whistled. But the tension in the team only grew, especially from Jess, the star of the team, an excellent attacker, and someone who was well aware of her popularity. At the next practice, Jess deliberately served Hayley a difficult ball, too low and too fast. The rookie jumped and fell, hitting her elbow hard on the floor. "Well, couldn't handle it?" Jess sneered. The pain was sharp, but the pain of humiliation was stronger. She got up, she gritted her teeth, and she continued playing as if nothing had happened. In the evening, Hayley was alone again. The bruise spread across her arm, but she continued to train. And when her strength was leaving her, Amber suddenly appeared, the quiet girl who was almost invisible on the team. "You don't have to do everything on your own," she said, handing her a bottle of water. "I've seen how hard you're trying." It was a small gesture of support, but it gave Hayley what she needed most, the belief that she wasn't alone against the world. In the next game, the coach gave her a chance to start. Everyone was watching to see her fail, but Hayley knew this was her moment. The opponent was strong, the hall was full, every seat was taken. The applause and shouts merged into a din. But for Hayley, the world became quiet. It was just her, the ball, and the net in front of her. The first serve was right in the corner, and the opponent didn't have time to react. The second was even more powerful. The third was an ace. 3 points in a row, 3 blows to the doubts. The team was already looking at her differently. Even Jess, frowning, involuntarily showed her surprise. In the second set, the opponent intensified their attack. The ball flew high over the net, a decisive moment. Everyone was waiting for Jess to jump, but the ball was closer to Hayley. She stepped forward. She jumped higher than ever before, and she slammed the ball right into the opponent's court with force. The stands erupted. After the match ended in victory, Jess approached her. This time, she wasn't smirking. "Looks like we underestimated you," she said, extending her hand. "Welcome to the team." Hayley smiled, feeling something warm and real growing in her chest. Not recognition, respect. Late that night, as she left the locker room, she whispered, "I told you I could do it." And for the first time since she had entered college, she felt at home. Competition. The victory was just the beginning. People started talking about Hayley at practice, in the university corridors, and even on the team's social media pages. Observing her progress, the coach voiced an idea that no one expected to hear. "We'll need a new captain next season, and I want to see several candidates." These words sparked a new battle. While everyone was discussing the options, the team already knew who the main contenders would be. Jess. the usual leader. Hayley, the new favorite of the coach and students. Their rivalry went from hidden to open. During practice, Jess seemed to deliberately try to intercept every ball to show that she was the leader here. "Don't relax, rookie," she said after one of the attacks. "One good game doesn't make you captain." Hayley held back. She already knew that words were just noise. But the more she grew, the more someone on the team began to whisper behind her back. Maybe she got everything too quickly. What if she's just lucky? She's still a nobody. It hurt again. But now Hayley had support. Amber told her, "A leader isn't someone people fear. It's someone people trust." And Hayley was trusted more and more. The decisive moment arrived. The intercollegiate qualifying match that would determine who made it to the National League. The coach announced, "Whoever proves themselves as captain on the court will become captain." All eyes were on Jess and Hayley. It wasn't just a game, it was a test of character. Jess's truth: the day before the game, Hayley accidentally stayed behind in the gym after practice. As she was about to leave, she heard the muffled sound of a ball hitting the net. Jess was in the gym, alone. Her hands were shaking. Her serves were unstable. The ball kept hitting the net. This was not the confident star everyone was used to seeing. Hayley moved closer and heard a quiet sob. Jess quickly wiped her eyes when she noticed her. "What? Did you come to watch me fail?" "No," Hayley replied calmly. "I was just surprised to see you here." A few seconds of silence. And then, suddenly, words came out of Jess's mouth, almost desperately. "They think I'm strong, that I'm doing perfectly fine, but," she looked down, "my scholarship depends on volleyball. If I'm not the best, I'll have to leave the university." Hayley was silent. For the first time, she understood. Jess wasn't fighting for status. She was fighting for her future. "I know that sometimes I behave—" Jess searched for the right word, but found only honesty. "Badly, but I just can't afford to lose." "We're not enemies," Hayley said softly. "We're on the same team." Jess smiled, but without malice. "And tomorrow we're both fighting for captain. Only one of us will win." Hayley nodded. "Then let's make sure the team wins together." And for the first time ever, Jess looked at her without bitterness in her eyes. With recognition. The turning point. The game. The next day, the hall was packed to capacity. Shouts, posters, tension. Everything mixed together. From the very first minutes, the opponent put on the pressure. Hayley's team began to lose points. The coach shouted instructions, but fear began to creep into the players. And then, Jess spoke up. "Girls, we can do this. Remember who we are. Remember how we play." Her words fired up the team. But at the decisive moment, Jess's shot went completely wrong. The ball flew out of bounds. She closed her eyes from the pain in her shoulder. An old strain. And that's when Hayley stepped forward. "Pass it to me," she said confidently. "I'll finish it." She looked up at Jess, without triumph, with support. The kind Jess hadn't received in so long. Jess, breathing heavily, nodded. "You can do it." The score was almost even. Every point was like a last chance. The coach paced nervously along the line, and the stands roared so loudly that it felt like the floor was vibrating underfoot. Hayley received the pass. A powerful shot, and her opponent couldn't react in time. Point! The noise of the cheering students spread throughout the hall. The serve, to her again. Hayley managed to reach the ball in midair, and Amber sent it right into the empty zone. Another point. Jess stood nearby, experiencing every one of Hayley's actions as if they were her own. And now, match point. The opponent serves with incredible power. The ball flies straight to Jess. She tries to receive it and barely keeps it in play. Her shoulder trembles with pain. She falls to her knee. Hayley instantly adjusts. Amber passes. Hayley jumps. Time seems to slow down. She hits the ball. Her opponent touches it, but it still falls to the floor. Victory! The gym erupts. The players rush to each other, shouting, hugging. For the first time as a real team, Hayley manages to see Jess get up from the floor and smile, sincerely, broadly, without a trace of envy. The coach's decision. After the game, when emotions had calmed down a bit, the coach gathered the team in the locker room. He looked more serious than ever. "Today I saw two leaders," he said, looking at Jess and Hayley. "But a captain must be more than just a strong player. He must be someone who inspires others, helps them in difficult moments, someone who believes in the team every day." He paused. Everyone held their breath. "Hayley will be the captain." The silence lasted only a second. But for Hayley, it felt like an eternity. Suddenly, Jess was the first to speak. She stepped forward and, without hesitation, gave Hayley a big hug. "You deserve it. Make us the best." Those words meant more to Hayley than any title. She understood. A true leader is not someone who is above others, but someone who lifts others up with them. The new team, since then, a lot has changed in the team. Hayley became captain not with loud words, but with actions. She was the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave, just like before. But now she always took care of those who were falling behind. "Amber, let's work on your serve together. Claire, you have a great jump. You just need confidence. Jess, if you need anything, I'm here." At first, Jess distanced herself. Pride and the habit of being first don't go away instantly. But Hayley didn't pressure her. She just stayed close, supporting every success. And step by step, rivalry turned into partnership. Jess became the player Hayley trusted in the most difficult moments. Now, as they stood shoulder to shoulder on the court, no one had any doubts. This was a team that could win it all. The team also became closer. They had dinner together, laughed at memes, discussed their studies, and even went to other teams' games to support the university. What began with mistrust and loneliness turned into strength, and that strength grew every day. Before the start of the new season, when everyone gathered in a circle before practice, Hayley said, "We did the impossible when we didn't even believe in ourselves. Now imagine what will happen if we believe in each other." Everyone put their hands in the center of the circle. Jess looked at Hayley and said confidently, "To the championship." Together. The team shouted in unison, and this sound was no longer just noise. It was the voice of unity. Romantic storyline. His name was Lucas Hayes, a medical student. He also worked as an assistant to the university sports doctor, with the very teams Hayley played on. He saw her when she practiced late into the night. He saw how she agonized over her mistakes, how she smiled when she succeeded. At first, he just admired her. Then he started to worry. One day after practice, he caught up with her in the hallway. "Hayley, you're staying late again. You're going to ruin your muscles." She shrugged. "If I don't work harder than the others, I'll never succeed." Lucas looked at her intently and said, "Sometimes strength is the ability to let yourself rest." For the first time in a long time, Hayley felt that someone saw not only her success, but also the exhaustion behind it. First step. The team began to win more often, and Hayley began to notice Lucas more often. In the stands, in the medical office, in the cafeteria when he accidentally ended up in the same line. Amber winked at her once. "Looks like you have a fan." Hayley was embarrassed. She wasn't used to someone being interested in her and not her results. One day, Lucas gave her a bracelet with a small silver ball. "This is to remind you that you don't always have to be perfect." She carefully put the bracelet on her wrist, and her heart felt warmer than any victory could have made it. A moment of fragility. After a tough game, Hayley hit her knee hard. The coach insisted on having it examined in the medical office, and there she met Lucas. He carefully checked her joint, while Hayley trembled with fear. If it's serious, I won't be able to play." Lucas put his hand on hers. "Hey, I'm with you. We'll figure it out. But first, breathe." She looked up into his eyes, warm, calm, real. At that moment, Hayley realized, with him, she could allow herself not to be strong. The first kiss, her knee was fine, just a bruise. Lucas walked her back to the locker room. "You know," he said, "I like how you fight for your dream." "And I like that you believe in it," Hayley replied. They stopped at the door. The pause was broken not by words, but by a feeling. A light, warm kiss. One born not of passion, but of mutual support. And for the first time, Hayley thought, maybe love is a team sport too. The price of success. The team was gaining momentum. Victory after victory brought them closer to the national championship, a dream they had previously been afraid to speak of aloud. But with success came the burden of expectations. Hayley came home exhausted, too tired to even smile at Lucas in response to his caring messages. She increasingly remained silent when he tried to help her. "I just want to be the best," she said once, lowering her head wearily. Lucas sighed quietly. "I think you already are the best. You just don't allow yourself to accept it." He touched her heart, but she only saw the scoreboard. Jealousy, a new player appeared suddenly. Sofia Campbell, a talented libero, transferred from another team. Fast, confident, beautiful, and clearly interested in Lucas. "You're Lucas, right? Do you work with the team? We could see each other more often." She smiled too warmly. Hayley began to wonder, why is she like that with him? And he? Why doesn't he pull away? Lucas wasn't doing anything wrong, but that didn't matter to her heart. And when Sofia once kept him after practice, Hayley went home with a lump in her throat. Lucas's fears. One evening, Hayley came to Lucas's place unannounced. He didn't open the door right away. When the door finally swung open, Hayley saw the uncertainty he had been carefully hiding. "I'm sorry," he exhaled. "I was on the phone with my mom." He led her into the room, and she noticed medical bills and documents next to his laptop. "Are you sick?" Hayley's breath caught. Lucas looked down. "Not me, my father. The treatment is expensive. I'm working 3 jobs, trying to keep going, but sometimes I just can't." He sat down and finally allowed himself to show weakness. "I don't want to be a problem for you." Hayley quietly sat down next to him and hugged him. "You don't have to be strong for me. I'm here. Always." That was their agreement, but everyone had their own demons. Cracks. The tension was growing. Hayley was afraid of letting the team down. Lucas was afraid of being a burden. Sofia was ambitious to take her place in the starting lineup and next to him. The precious balance began to falter. During one of the practices, when Sofia once again intercepted a ball intended for Hayley and smiled slyly at her, Hayley snapped, "Are you deliberately trying to take my place?" Sofia replied coldly, "Are you sure it's your place?" The argument almost turned into a fight. The team tensed up. Even Jess didn't know how to intervene. The coach simply said, "Championship starts with unity. Don't make me doubt that you are ready to earn it." The words hurt more than any block. The turning point late at night, Hayley sat in the stands of an empty hall. Her knee ached. The bruise reminded her of itself. But the pain inside was stronger. What if I let everyone down? What if Lucas doesn't choose me? What if I'm not the captain, but a mistake? She was almost crying when she heard a familiar voice. "Hayley, look at me." Lucas sat down next to her and took her hand. "You fight for the team every day, but you need a team too. And I'm on your team, always." Those words were her salvation. But the hardest part was yet to come. The championship final, the fight for trust and love, the decision of whether she was a leader or a loner. Championship final. The atmosphere in the hall was like the calm before the storm. The final. A full stadium. Fans waved posters with the players' names on them. But inside the team, there is silence. Everyone understands. This is not just a game. It is a test of everything they have been through together. The coach looked at Hayley. "Captain, lead." She took a deep breath. The fear was gone. What remained was the feeling that she was not alone. The fall second set. The tension is mounting. The opponent is targeting their weak spots. They are less successful. Mistakes are multiplying. Hayley goes to serve and misses. The ball hits the net. Whistles. Disappointed cries. She feels her heart sink. Again, I'm letting everyone down. Will Sofia come over and say something cold? No. Sofia puts her hand on her shoulder. We all have the right to make mistakes. What's more important is what you do next. The first spark of new confidence. A step towards herself. During the break, Hayley walks to the edge of the court. Lucas gets up from the front row and calls her with his eyes. You're forgetting the main thing, he says. You've already won, over your old self. He smiles. Now go and do your thing. It's not pressure. It's faith. Returning to the court is like a new start in life. Hayley looks at the team. We're not playing for the title. We're playing to prove that we are a team. A circle. Hands in the center. A collective shout with not a single foreign voice. The last balls. Match point. The opponent's serve is the strongest. The ball flies straight into the break zone. And suddenly, Jess lunges forward. Her knee hits the floor, but she pulls off the reception. Amber. Pass. Hayley. Jump. At that moment, she thinks of neither fear nor the past, only that they are together. The hit, the ball falls to the court. Noise, flashes, victory. An emotional victory. The team rushes to embrace Hayley, and among them all, she looks for only one. Lucas approaches and simply opens his arms. She flies into his embrace as if coming home. See, he whispers to her. I told you. You've already won. Hayley smiles through her tears. No, we won. And at that moment, she understands. Victory is not a trophy. Victory is the people who walk with you to the end. Hayley is the captain of the championship team. She is respected. Jess is her friend and right-hand woman. Sofia is an important part of the team. Lucas is there for her, no matter what. Hayley no longer tries to be perfect. She has become strong.